You heard it here, folks. The word affordability is crushing Canadians. And often I ask myself, does the government truly actually understand what is going on? Last election, it really hit the platforms of the government, and this housing issue is huge and very, very concerning. There's numerous factors that we need to understand. First, I want to just touch on the definition of affordability and how the average Canadian would suspect that in their late 20s, early 30s, they should be able to buy a house for approximately $300,000 to $500,000. And that has sailed. But affordability isn't necessarily the word to be used for that. That's just Canadian home ownership. Affordability is more looked at as affordable housing for every Canadian as a whole. And that means the rental market. Canadian rents are exponentially increasing, and it's making it very, very less affordable for the average Canadian to even have a place to live. Homeless levels, mental health, and drug addiction is at all-time high, and that is because people are feeling the stress and burden of the cost of living, and let alone the cost for home ownership. The population in Canada grew by 1 million people in a year, and pushing our population to about 40 million people. I also heard that they want to have our Canadian population doubled by 2050. There are numerous challenges for Canadians as a whole. Yes, we're talking about home ownership and affordability, but what about the cost of living? And here's a prime example. During the day, in the afternoon, I'm busy. I don't always get a chance to stop at a great place to eat. I'm the kind of guy who hits a drive-through. So I'm at Harvey's the other day. I order 2 hamburgers. I have $10 in my hand. I hand it to the lady to pay for the burgers. And she told me, sorry, sir, it's $15. I scratched my head and said, wow, what just happened there? When did Harvey's burgers almost go to $8 each? Another example I like to draw in is that as a realtor, we have to do water tests for particular properties. There's a company I used to get to do the water test. I haven't been there for about 2 years. Before, the water test was $60. Now, all of a sudden, that water test is $160. Again, I scratch my head and say, well, what happened between 2 years ago to now that created such an exponential jump? Well, part of it is inflation. Part of it is supply chain issues, and let's just put the facts on the table. Some is just straight up price gouging. We can definitely understand that there is price gouging going on. That has occurred because of coming out of COVID. Companies want to make up for lost time, make for money. But not only that, there is inflationary aspects as well. Just the cost of food, the delivery of the food, our gas, our housing. These all cost inflationary measures that have been pushed up exponentially. For the poor Canadian, cost of living is going up. Cost of housing's going up. How is life going to be affordable altogether? Decreasing interest rates can make home affordability a little better for some. It also allows the cost of building go down for builders, therefore allowing them to build more supply. So interest rates is definitely one thing, but also too, what really, really has to happen is the provincial and federal governments need to work and expedite things, in my eyes, to work with the cities, all cities across our country, because this isn't just an issue in Toronto. This is every urban city across our country. Another thing people might say is that immigration may need to be put at a halt or slowed down. Well, I hate to say it, that's not going to happen. The government has definitely mandated that this is what they're doing. Our population does need to grow. I'm not in a disagreement with that, but what I want to see is far better planning, especially when I hear that they want to double the population by 2050. We could go into mayhem. There's numerous things they can do. Number one, the federal and provincial governments can work with grants to the municipalities or particular builders. The cities themselves can forfeit lands to builders, encouraging them to build affordable housing on these properties. Affordability was also supply chain issues, but those supply chain issues do seem to be being improved improved because inflation has been pushed down to 3.4%. And keep in mind, the target rate is 2%. Everything seems to be working. But when we talk about affordability, affordability is going to be a problem for young Canadians for a very, very long period of time. And as all as I can say now is start saving now and start talking to mom and dad. And if they can help you out and help you get in now, you're going to put yourself far further ahead and start building equity. And that equity will allow you to, again, invest in other properties. I find that my role as a real estate agent has drastically changed from when I first got in the business. I started in the real estate industry 20 years ago, and I started helping first-time homebuyers buy their first house, elderlies, people downsize into condos. I help people buy up to their family homes from their first-time buyer homes. And yes, I did help the odd investor here and there buy houses, but investing in real estate was never at the level it's at now. Now I find myself as, to be honest, a trusted real estate advisor, and I can thoroughly have the effect to help people buy real estate at the right time, sell real estate at the right time, and build incredible amounts of wealth through property. This affordability issue will maybe improve with some things being done, but it will be a struggle for the young Canadian or the immigrant as a whole. Again, if we do not get this affordability under control, immigrants may start to turn their eye away to Canada as an actual affordable option to live. What we need to do is have the government bring in better skilled workers who will take on better jobs, therefore allowing them to afford a home. But there is rumblings that there is immigrants who are starting to shy away from Canada because of, to be honest, our housing crisis. So if we don't get this housing crisis and affordability under control, their model of immigration may fail coming to this country, and definitely affordability for the Canadian as a whole. If you want to see affordable housing, reach out to your MP, call your city, tell them to work with everybody involved. And really it starts with the federal and provincial governments helping the big cities and municipalities work together and create land availability for builders to build. And if they want affordable housing, offer more affordable options for land that builders may build actual affordable rental units on this property. To put things in perspective, as mentioned, when I started in real estate, the average age of the first-time home buyer was around 31, 32 years old. Now here we are in 2023, and the average age of the first-time home buyer has risen to 36. As this affordability issue increases, we are definitely anticipating the average age of the first-time home buyer to increase even further. Now, funny thing is, when I first started in real estate, I actually did help a lot more young Canadians buy houses in that 22 to 25-year-old age bracket. That we're seeing very, very less. And to put this in perspective for you guys, in Germany, the average age of the first-time homebuyer is 46 years old. They have struggled with this affordability issue far longer than we have. And again, that's because of density, land's availability, and they're going through the same thing. So in reality, this affordability issue isn't just a Canadian problem. It's a world problem. All large countries are struggling with this new affordability for everyone. New York, Sydney, Australia, all these places have affordability issues, and again, are struggling with the same problems we do. But we're here in Canada, and we need to focus on what we can do for our Canadians to make houses more affordable.